Saiyan MGTOW here with over 9,000 opinions. Welcome to the video. John Oliver talks about DeSantis. Saiyan MGTOW reacts. Part whatever it is. Here we go.
Because of, that thing. But that law is also under a preliminary injunction from a judge who at one point told the DeSantis administration's lawyers, I won't put you on the spot and ask if you've ever dealt with a statute that was more poorly drafted. And look, he is still fighting those lawsuits, and future decisions could wind up going his way. After all, these cases are coming through higher courts that range from fairly conservative all the way up to overturned Roe v. Wade. But even when DeSantis has existed, just last year he made on his side, his v. Wade. But even when DeSantis has existing laws on his side, his application of them can be slapdash and gross. Just last year, he made a big show of announcing his new Elections, Crime and Security Office had spearheaded the arrest of 20 people who voted illegally. But these were largely people who the state had cleared to join the voter rolls, so they assumed they were eligible to vote, despite the fact that they technically weren't. Now, one way of dealing with that would have been to simply contact those people, explain the mistake, and remove them from the rolls. But instead, what DeSantis chose to do was to send armed cops to conduct arrests, with body cam video later revealing police with guns drawn, pulling people out of their houses. And if you listen to the cops involved, even they seem annoyed and embarrassed at what they're having to do.
That's the thing. I don't know exactly what happened with it, but you do have a warrant. That's what it's for.
Why are y'all doing this now and this happened years ago?
I don't know. I have no idea, man.
Wow. Do you have any idea how sketchy your order needs to be for cops to enforce it reluctantly? Enforcing laws on scared people is one of their favourite things to do. It's that, make siren go wee woo, wee woo, wee woo, and end of list. Now, since then, several of those cases, including all those we just showed you, have been dropped or dismissed. But it really feels like DeSantis' main aim there, as in so many cases, was just to instill fear, to make people afraid to protest, or to moderate content, or even to vote. And
The casual hatred of cops really gets on my nerves. These people sign themselves up to get shot at. Stop fucking sideswiping them with your backhanded comments. Yeah, some cops are giant pricks. But I wonder why some people like John seem to constantly disrespect the people who deserve our utmost respect and admiration for selflessly saving lives. So I did some research on these people getting arrested. Each of the roughly 20 people were ineligible to vote because they had murders or felony sex offenses on their criminal records. That's from the Tampa Bay Times article. These people were given ballots to vote, so they did. I understand if they thought they could vote, but also they should know the government is very inept and they committed crimes that make it so they can't vote. But I understand. Maybe you think the government is giving you a break. Who knows? John Oliver is right, though. There should not be a case here, and there should be an apology instead of a cop with a gun drawn visit. I don't know how directly DeSantis ordered these arrests, but let's say it went down exactly like he planned. It makes sense to have guns ready when you're about to arrest someone who has murdered someone or knows they will go back to jail for a long time if they mess up again. But I think this is the first part where I agree with John more than Ron. These people should get official apologies from DeSantis if all they did was vote when they weren't supposed to after the government sent them voting materials. Ha! We know the government is inept often. So why do liberals want more government? It defies logic. Let's continue.
that is the thing. even his sloppily written laws can end up doing real harm. And maybe the clearest place to see all of this in action is in Florida's schools, because he's been very busy there. You probably remember last year's passage of HB 155070.
It's going to be a long night.
Rights in Education Act, also known as the Don't Say Gay Bill. Though DeSantis says that name pushes a false narrative, and his claim that the bill simply says no sexual instruction to kids pre-K through 3. But the truth is, the bill is not as narrow as that at all, as this DeSantis supporter openly acknowledges.
What this bill is trying to prevent is indoctrination of our children.
But the bill is a sweeping, general piece of legislation that doesn't just apply to young children, it applies throughout the entire school age, where it says age-appropriate teaching of gender identity and sexuality.
So the bill, it does, you're right, it targets kindergarten to 3rd grade, and it says or age appropriate.
Yeah. So when is it age-appropriate to talk about homosexuality?
It varies by the individual.
You would sue a teacher if they started talking to your daughter about same-sex marriage or LGBTQ issues at the age of 17.
If they don't have my consent, and I think it's not appropriate for my daughter, yes.
Wow. Yeah. I think a lot of people would be quite shocked to hear that.
Well,
It's kind of a mainstream.
that is the law.
Exactly. I know that's rough to hear, but he is technically right there. Thanks to Ron DeSantis, right now it is the law in Florida. And quick side note, it's funny how it's always the people who think homosexuality as a concept needs to be taught at an appropriate age. They don't give a second thought to when they teach their kids what heterosexuality is. Although, I could be wrong. Maybe in that guy's family, his kid asks every day, who are you people living in my house?
Homosexuality, heterosexuality should not be taught at all.
With friends, don't ask me any more questions till you're 18 or I will fucking sue you. And it is not just sexuality. It is...
Okay, so the bill says age appropriate after 3rd grade. So if someone is describing gory details about butt sex and all the prep that goes into it to your 7th grader, you can sue their butts and probably win. If someone says it's okay to be gay to your 16-year-old, you can still sue, but you'll probably lose. It's age appropriate. And first of all, you can sue anyone for anything at any time. This bill just gives you more power to do so on this topic. And the topic is not gay things. The topic is sexuality.